Welcome back with another episode on this channel. This is Zaheen Azir and we are doing Advent of Cyber 2024. So we are at the very last. We have just 3 rooms left. Hopefully by the end of this day we're gonna complete all of this. Today we're gonna start the task 28. Kubernetes DFIR. Day 22 is because I am cubed, isn't it? Okay, so I already started the VM and also the attack box. Let's see how many minutes. Yeah, we're good to go. Awesome. Let's get into the task here. We have the story. There is already a walkthrough by CyberRocks. Check it out. We're gonna move just forward here. Mayor Malware laughed hard at what he had done. Another scheme hash, another scheme won, but a thought passed the mayor. The thought then passed twice. The list soon to come, the towns naughty or nice. He paced and he paced like the week of election until that was it, a surprise mayor inspection. The list making wares, well, it only seems fair, would grant him tempt access and account for the mayor. The list makers agreed under certain conditions. He logged on that day to confirm his suspicions. The next day they were when the naughty list read Mayor Malware line 1. He read it with dread. The conditions they gave, that's something they missed. As somehow and some way he accessed the list. Mayor Malware then smiled as he had found no blame. With this he would find a new home for his name. Okay, so we have Mayor Malware. He's naughty, nice, is max kitty and glitch. Until now we don't know what will happen next. Learning objectives are learn about Kubernetes, what it is and why it is used. Learn about DFIR and the challenges that come with DFIR in an ephemeral environment. Learning how DFIR can be, or DFIR, what do you call it by the way? Digital forensic and incident response, but what you call it completely? DFIR can be done in a Kubernetes environment using log analysis. Connecting to the machine, we already done so. We started the machine and we are in the split view. Kubernetes explained back in the day it was very common for companies or organizations to use a monolithic architecture when building their application. By the way, people are now going back to the monolithic because it is cumbersome to maintain the Kubernetes environment, and sometimes there is a lot of overhead where it is exposed to a lot of attack vectors which is not present in terms of monolithic application. And monolithic applications are were not easier to maintain, but now with the knowledge that we have, we can create a monolithic application which will serve the purpose of its creation. For example, if they are looking for performance, they can create even the monolithic application for performance purposes as well. So there is a debate on the both end. Microservices or monolithic. Monolithic used to have a disadvantage because if it is a blob, if the code is a lot and you cannot manage it, this is a bad way of creating the monolithic application. But since you know and have the experience of microservices and monolithic application, you can create some kind of hybrid to which serve your business need. Okay, so it really depends what you are building and what is the purpose of building that particular piece of software. Monolithic architecture when building their applications. A monolithic architecture is an application built as a single unit, a single code base, and usually a single executable deployed as a single component. For many companies, this worked and still does to this day. However, for some companies, this style of architecture was causing problems, especially when it came to scaling. The problem with monolithic applications is that if one single part of the application needs scaling, the whole application has to be scaled with it. It would make far more sense for companies with applications that receive fluctuating levels of demand across their parts of break the application down components by components and run them as their own microservices. Yeah, but there will be an overhead, of course, unless you have different teams managing everything, different microservices. That way, if one microservice starts to receive an increase in demand, it can be scaled up rather than the entire application. That is very true in terms of the scalability. The great microservice adoption. Microservice architecture was adopted by companies like Netflix, which is a perfect example of the hypothetical company discussed above. Their need to scale up services dedicated to streaming when a new title is released, while services dedicated to user registration, billing, etc. won't need the same scaling level. Made a microservices architecture a no-brainer. At time went by, companies similar to Netflix hopped abroad the microservices express, and it became very widely adopted. Now, as for hosting for these microservices, containers were chosen due to their lightweight nature. Only, as you may imagine, an application of this scale can require hundreds or even thousands of containers. Suddenly, a tool was needed to organize and manage these containers. Somebody needs to drive or fly the plane. So we have Kubernetes. Introduce the Kubernetes. Well, you guessed it. That's exactly what Kubernetes was made for. Kubernetes is a container orchestration system. So it's a kind of driver. It maintains everything which is going on inside the Kubernetes cluster. Imagine one of those microservices mentioned earlier is running in a container, and suddenly there is an increase in traffic, and this one container can no longer handle all requests. The solution to this problem is to have another container spun up for this microservice and balance the traffic between the two. Kubernetes take care of this solution for you, orchestrating those containers when needed. That makes things a lot easier for everyone involved, and it's because of this, along with the widespread adoption of microservice architecture, the Kubernetes is so ubiquitous in the digital landscape today. This popularity means that it's highly portable, as no matter what technology stack is being used, it's very likely a Kubernetes integration is available. This, along with the fact it can help make an application highly available and scalable. Yes, there is added complexity of the Kubernetes unless you are using managed Kubernetes platforms. Okay, so the Kubernetes platform itself is managed on behalf of you. In Kubernetes, container run in pods. These pods run on nodes. Nodes is, for example, VMs or something like that. A collection of nodes makes up a Kubernetes cluster. It is within a cluster that MaxKD and co-investigation will occur today. If you are interested in learning more about Kubernetes, we have a range of rooms on the subject. A good place to start would be the Intro to Kubernetes room. Then there's plenty more where that came from with the Kubernetes hardening modules. Okay, Kubernetes hardening module, I think I already covered it in one of the videos. Just check it out. Maybe it is in the DevOps learning path. DFIR basics. Every cybersecurity professional has stumbled or will stumble upon DFIR at some point in their career. It is acronym in IT. We all love our acronym that stands for Digital Forensic and Incident Response. These two investigative branches of the cybersecurity come into play during a cybersecurity incident. A DFIR or DFIR expert will likely be called to action as soon as an incident is ascertained and will be expected to perform actions that fall into one or both of two disciplines: digital forensic or incident response. Digital forensic, like any other forensic discipline, aims to collect and analyze digital evidence of an incident. The artifacts collected from the affected systems are used to trace the chain of attack and uncover all facts that ultimately led to the incident. DFIR experts sometimes use the term post-mortem to indicate that their analysis starts after the incident has occurred and is performed on already compromised systems and networks. Incident response. So most of the time, the digital forensic will happen on a live server, which is not restarted or you did not do anything, you did not touch that server. Okay, so memory should be there. If you restart, the memory will be vanished. So that means if there is any payload there in the memory, the digital forensic guy will not be able to basically see what was loaded into the memory, because most of the payload either are on the temp file folder or are there in the memory itself. We had a task in cyber advent of cyber similar to that, where we were loading something in the memory rather than on the file system. Incident response will still rely on data analysis to investigate the incident, focuses on responsive actions such as threat containment and system recovery. The incident responder will isolate infected machines, use the data collected during the analysis to identify the hole in the infrastructure security and close it, then recover the affected systems to a clean previous to compromised state. Picture the incident responder as an emergency first responder whose aim is to contain the damage, extinguish the fire, and find and stabilize all the victims. On the other hand, the digital forensic analyst is the crime scene investigator or detective trying to recreate the crime scene and ultimately find evidence to identify and frame the criminals. Both roles are expected to document all findings thoroughly. The incident responder will present them to explain how the incident happened and what can be learned from it, ultimately proposing changes to improve the security stance of the entity affected by the incident. The digital forensic analyst will use the findings to demonstrate the attacker's actions and eventually testify against them in the court. In the task at hand, we will help Maxkidi and Glitch become digital forensic analysts and retrace the malicious actor's steps. We will especially focus on collecting evidence and artifacts to uncover the perpetrator and present our analysis to Where Valley's townspeople. Okay, excuse me. Then we have excruciatingly ephemeral. I don't know what does that mean. DFIR can be a lot of fun. It's easy to feel like a digital detective. Yeah, awesome. James Bond. No, he's an attacker, not the detective. Analyzing the crime scene and connecting the dots to create a narrative string of events explaining what happened. What if the crime scene vanished into thin air moments after the crime was committed? This is a problem we face regularly when carrying out DFI in the Kubernetes environment. This is because, as mentioned, Kubernetes workloads run in containers, and it is very common that a container will have a very short lifespans, either spun up to run a job quickly or to handle increased load etc. before being spun back down again. In fact, in this year 2024 Cloud Native Security and Usage Report, SysTig found that 70% of the containers live less than 5 minutes. But even in the same case, the logs will be generated and we can go through the logs to find out what happened. So what can we do about it? Well, not to worry, it just means we have to expand our digital detective toolkits. The key to keep track of ongoing is your often ephemeral workloads within Kubernetes environment is increasing visibility. There are a few ways we can do this. One way is by enabling Kubernetes audit logging, a function that Kubernetes provide, allowing for requests to the APIs to be captured at various stages. For example, if a user makes a request to delete a pod, this request can be captured, and while the pod will be deleted and loss contained within it the request made to delete it will be persisted in the audit logs. What requests, events are captured and can be defined with an audit policy. We can use these audit logs to answer questions which help us in a security DFIR context, such as what happened, when did it happen, who initiated it, to what did it happen, where was it observed from, where was it initiated, to where was it going. Of course, this just scratches the surface in terms of the level of visibility we can achieve in our Kubernetes environment. We can feed these audit logs as well as events from other security relevant sources into runtime security tools, which help transform these raw events into actionable data, which can then be visualized using yet more tools. A digital detective should definitely invest in an extra large toolkit. If you want to learn more on that subject, check out the Kubernetes runtime security room. I think let me check out if I have done it already or not. I haven't done it. Maybe later on I will check it out. Let's move forward. Following the cookie crumb, let's start our investigation. As mentioned before, some of the log sources would disappear as their sources. Their parts are ephemeral. Let's see this in action first. On the VM, open a terminal. Let's open a terminal. SDK8 start, following the command. Okay, so we need to go with the mini cube start. It will take a little bit of time. It will take roughly 3 minutes for the cluster to configure itself and start. You can verify that the cluster is up and running using the following commands: kubectl get pod -n where valley. Okay, we'll see that. If all of the pods are up and running based on their status, you are ready to go. This will take about 2 minutes. Since we know that the web application was compromised, let's connect to that pod and see if we can recover any logs. Connect to the pod using the following command. So exec -n not your nice IT, that means interactive, and that means which command we needed to be interactive on. So basically we initiated a bin bash. Once connected, let's review the Apache 2 access log. We have cat var log apache 2 access.log here. Okay, let's run this particular command. Let's type it, it's better, right? Get pods -n where valley. All of them are error? What? Why they all have errors? They all have errors, man. So I will stop it here. Once all of them are ready, we'll come back. So we are back. All of the things are running now. So we're gonna go with this one. Let's write this command. So we'll build the muscle memory in the real environment. Exec -n where valley. There is no command complete here. Naughty dash or nice interactive IT, and then we need to go with bin bash. Okay, so we have root access now. What do we need to do? We need to cat the logs that we have. Log Apache mean we are trying to access the web server logs. Oh wow, we have a lot of logs, man. Most of them are HTTP get style and whatnot, API PHP log. All right, so we only see logs from the 28th of October when our attack occurred later on. Yeah, 28, yeah, we have 29 as well. Shelly.php command is who am I? Ooh, so this is where our system was compromised. Shelly.php somehow was there on our on our pod, one of the pod. Okay, so looking at the last log, however, we do see something interesting with the request being made to shelly.php file. So this tells us we are on the right track. Terminate your session to the pod using exit. Let's do that. We are exiting. We are back. Fortunately, MaxCD knew that the log source was ephemeral and decided to ensure that the remote backups of the logs source were made. Navigate to our backup directory using cd home. Let's do that. This time we will copy paste. All right. Where you will find access logs stored in the pod apache_access.log. Review these logs to see what Mayor Malware was up to on the website and answer the first 3 questions at the bottom of the task. Okay, so let me open it up in a new window. So we have much more real estate to work with, hopefully. Here we go. Let me make a little bit bigger. All right, so we need to see the logs that we have. It is cat pod apache log. So we have the logs here. Who am I? ls cat db.php. Ooh, he was trying to see the code of the db.php. Who am I and which nc, and what is the or where is the nc is located. And before that, we can see it was just get requests. I don't see any post request. Yeah, we have post request as well, which is api .php. Some post request was there, and after that shelly.php command was there. Okay, let's see and answer the first 3 questions as they told us. Come on. Okay, what is the name of the web shell that was used by the Mayor Malware? So it was, come on, shelly.php. Shelly.php. Correct. What file did Mayor Malware read from the pod? It is db.php, as we saw. What tool did Mayor Malware search for that could be used to create a remote connection from the NC? He mentioned which NC, right? So this is here, which NC, as you can see here, plus mean here, space. All right, so we covered this one. Let's move forward with the next. Here we go. Sadly, our investigation hits a bit of a brick wall here. Firstly, because the pod was configured using a port forward, we don't see the actual IP that was used to connect to the instance. Also, we still don't fully understand how the web shell found its way to the pod. That is very true. I don't see how they were able to put it there. However, we rebooted the cluster and the web shell was present, meaning it must live within the actual image of the pod itself. That means we need to investigate the Docker image registry itself to view the registry container ID. Run the following commands. So for this, it's better if we do it in the split view because there are a lot of commands and we need to run a lot of commands here. What if I just refresh, so it will automatically minimize. All right, so let's continue. Docker ps docker ps. So here we go. Once we run it, we have, for example, container id image command and created, and it is healthy, and ports are here. What we are looking for exactly? Image. I'm papping cyberchef, and we have reverse shell generator as well. We have to. Now let's connect to the instance to see if we have any logs. Which one? Which container layer? Container logs. Okay. Wait a minute. So we have registry 2.1, name is here, command, created status and ports. The container is this one, image is this one, and name is registry_PRIV. So what we need to do is we need to run this particular command in order to see the logs. So the container name is container name or ID. Let's go with the name registry_priv. Error response from the daemon, no such container. Okay. Registry. We don't have anything here. Let's go with minikube. Or we can go with, for example, install with name, which is looking like this. Let's go with the ID this time. We have some logs, which is alternative.logs here. So we can go with, for example, doc logs container. Again, we hit a wall since we don't have any registry logs. So luckily, Docker itself would keep logs for us. Let's pull these logs using the following command, which is docker logs and id. Okay, let's run this. So the container name is registry_priv. Ooh, wow. There's a basic authentication warnings going on and a lot of logs. I cannot read much of it. Now we have something we can use. These logs have been pulled for you, are stored in the home, Ubuntu, and Docker registry-log file. Let's start by seeing all the different connections that were made to the registry by searching for the head HTTP request code, restricting it down to the only first item. Okay. So it was available in the DFIR artifacts. So we should be already in the DFIR artifacts. We just need to run the command, then we're good to go. And these are all the IP addresses. We have 172 and we have 10, 132.50 as well. Here we can see that most of the connections to our registry was made from the expected IP of 172.17.0.1. However, we can see that connections were also made by 10, 10, 130 and 253, which is not an IP known to us. Let's find all the requests made by this IP. So we are going for this one using grep. So we are basically piping the output of first command to the second command, where it will basically grep all the records which have this string available. Let's run this. And as you can see here, patching. This is patch, put, post, put. Then put mean we are basically updating it. Patch is also updating, or put could be also insertion or updation. Now we are getting somewhere. If you review the first few requests, we can see that the several authentication attempts were made, but we can also see the request to read the manifest for the wish list web image succeeded, as HTTP status code of 200 is turned in this log entry. Wish list get latest. Yeah, okay. What we can notice is the user agent in the request is Docker, meaning that was a request made through the Docker CLI to pull the image. This is confirmed as we see several requests. Then to download the image. From this we learned several things. The Docker CLI application was used to connect to the registry. How we learned it? Because it is mentioned that the Docker client was used. Okay, and it was going to the manifest latest. Did we see that? Yeah, here we go. This one. And it was from the Docker upstream, and the client was Docker client. Okay. Connection came from 10, 10, 130 and 253. Yes, we already have grep it, which is unexpected since we only upload image from 172, 17 and 0.1. Okay. The client was authenticated, which allows the image to be pulled. This means that whoever made the request had access to the credentials. If they had access to the credential to pull an image, these same credentials might have allowed them to also push a new image. We can verify this by narrowing our search to any patch HTTP methods. The patch method is used to update Docker image in a registry. Okay, so let's do that. We are gripping, and then we are gripping it again to just limit the patch. For example, we have patch here, and we have patch, just one patch or two patches. Oh, it is not pasting. Why did not we copied? Paste, enter. So we have to the patch is used to upload the blob uploads, which is this one, and the Docker get commit TOS and 90. It is again from the Docker client. We can see that it is being uploaded. This is not good. It means the Mayor malware could push a new version of our image. This would explain how the web shell made its way into the image. Since Mayor malware pulled the image, made malicious updates, and then pushed this compromised image back to the registry. Use the information to answer question 4 through 6 at the bottom of the task. Now that we know Mayor malware had access to the credentials of the Docker image, we need to learn how he could have gained access to them. we use the credential in our Kubernetes cluster to read the images from the registry. So let's see what could have happened to disclose them. Okay, so we need to go for 4 and 6. Let's move. What IP connected to the Docker registry that was unexpected? So it was this one, 10, 10, 130 to 253. At what time the first connection made from this IP to the Docker registry? At one time. So time was this one. I hope this is the format that they are looking for, hopefully. And then 0000. Yeah. At what time is the updated malicious image pushed to the registry? Okay, so it was our last one. Here is the time. This is the first time. We have second time as well. Let's see if they will accept it or not. Yeah, okay. What is the value stored in the pull credential secret? We don't have this information yet. So let's move up to see that. So here we go. Okay, so it looks like the attack happened via an authenticated Docker registry push. Now it's time to turn to our Kubernetes environment and determine how this was possible. MaxKD was made aware that the Mayor malware was given user access to the naughty or nice Kubernetes environment, but was assured by the DevSecOps team that he would not have sufficient permissions to view secrets, etc. The first thing we should do is make sure this is the case. To do this, MaxKD decides to check what role was assigned to the mayor. She first checks the role binding, binds the role to the user. Okay, so let's check this out. We can run it even in our split view. Here. Okay, this is not the attack box. Wait a moment. So this is my attack. This is the actual VM, sorry, not attack box. So we have job runner binding and mayor user binding. So we have two roles here. MaxKD then sees a role binding name after the Mayor malware and decided to take a closer look. So we need to describe it. I will just copy paste the commands to spend less time on it. We can do one thing, by the way. We can clear it. Okay, I run this command. Mayor malware user role and kind is user mayor malware. All right. From the output, she could see there is a role mayor user that is bound to the user mayor malware. MaxKD then check this role to see what permission it has, and therefore mayor malware had. Okay. So we are using kubectl describe role mayor dash user -n where valley. Okay, he can create and get the list, get list describe, but he can pod and execute. He can create the pods as well. The output here tells MaxKD something very important. A lot of the permission listed here are as you would expect for a non-admin user in a Kubernetes environment. All of those except for the permission associated with the pod execute. And the first one, yeah. Exec allows the user to shell into the containers running within a pod. This gives MaxKD an idea of what Mayor malware might have done. To confirm her suspicion, she checks the audit logs for Mayor malware activity. Cat audit.log grip. This one. Okay, let's run this. This is a big one. We can just run and get the output. what we are looking for, by the way. Wait. Okay. Let's run it again. Here we go. So this is the username, Mayor Malware. He's trying to do something here, right? So let's see the command again. Grep color is equal to always, then the username malware, and color is equal to always. We are color coding it. This turned a lot of logs. Let's go through them and maxi start to form the attack path taken by Mayor Malware. Okay. Audit user. Yeah, this is what we have done. This log snippet tells us that the Mayor Malware attempted to get the secret store on the cluster but received a 403 response as he did not have sufficient permissions to do so. Note a plural get command runs a list on the backend and is why it appears as so in the logs. So okay, we want to run it again. Let's try this one. This looks similar to what we have before. Yeah, similar to what we have before. Getting the versions, there is a verb, there is a resource board, and then we are doing it again. I'm not able to comprehend where he accessed it. Maybe we need to go through the logs a little bit more careful. After being denied secret access, Mayor Malware then started snooping to see what roles were present on the cluster. Okay. It's just not working that, man. It is not copied. Come on, man. Why it is not working, guys? We are copying, copy, and we are trying to paste it here. Yeah, okay, it is pasting and it is showing the same basically thing. Okay. Whilst running the previous get roles command, Mayor Malware will have found a role named job-runner, which logs tell us that Mayor Malware then described this role, which would have given him key pieces of information regarding the role. Most importantly for our investigation, it would have told him this role had secret read access. How? It will do the same. Now, knowing this role can view secrets, Mayor Malware tried to find its role binding to see what was using this role. So all of them are the same command. Basically, we need to go through all the logs in order to, comprehend what is going on. So first one is group, then here example authenticated source IP is here, cannot list the resources. Then here we again see RBAC allowed by the role binding, role of Mayor Malware. Then we have authenticated as well. We have metadata, Mayor Malware, binding. All this information is okay, but what about here? Not able to comprehend, by the way. After seeing a role binding named job runner binding, Mayor Malware described it as found out this role is bound to a service account named job runner-sa. Let's find job. Okay, here we go. So there is a job runner role. We can see that. And what about next? Where is it? We have a job runner dash binding is here as well. Job runner and job runner. We have two types of job runners here. Okay. Job runner dash essay. Where is it, by the way? Did we find it? No, we did not find it. I don't know how he was able to find it in the logs that we have. Okay, here we can see that the Mayor Malware, now armed with the knowledge that a service account has the permission, he needs list all the pods running in the Mayor Malware namespace with the kubectl get pod commands. But here I see all are the same commands. Mayor Malware describes the pod as a morality checker, and he then would have found out that this pod runs with the job runner dash SA service account attached, meaning that if he were able to gain access to this pod, he would be able to gain the secret read access. All mentioned in the role discussion. Exec is permission, usually not included in a non-admin role. It is for this exact reason that it is the case. MaxKD feels confident that the DevSecOps team had overly permissive role-based access control in place in the Kubernetes environment, and it was this that allowed Mayor Malware to run an exec command as captured by the logs above and gain shell access into morality checker to confirm her suspicion. Further, MaxKD runs the following command to retrieve order logs captured from the job runner as a service. Okay, let's see what is changed here. Okay, so we have a lot of logs for job runner as well. Yeah, so it is going for resources, resource secrets, and pulling the credentials kind of secrets, and kubectl operation feed of data docker. Data is .config. JSON is like this, a big one, big JSON. I don't know if this have our it is a base 64 or something like that, and type is something else. Okay, let's see. Here we can see a few commands being run. We can see the command malware is able to now run the get command on the secret to list them. But most importantly, we can see he has indeed been able to escalate his permission and gain access to the full creds secret using the job runner dash SA account. We saw that already. The final piece of puzzle revolved around the secret. Finally, she runs the command and attack the bot is confirmed. Okay, so if we go with this one. Yeah, it is base 64. We need to decode it. So this particular command basically pull it and decode the secret for us. So here we go. User is this and password is this, and auth variable is this one. Okay. Shaking her head, MaxKD then confirms that the Docker registry pull password is the same as the push password. This means that after retrieving this credential, Mayor Malware would have been able to make the Docker registry push we saw earlier and ensure his malicious web shell was deployed into the Kubernetes environment and gain persistence. It is for this reason that push and pull credentials should always be different. With that, the investigation is all tied up. The conclusion being that Mayor Malware most certainly belongs on the naughty list this year. What is the value stored in the pull-creds secret? Pull-creds secret. This is a big value. Do we need to enter all of it or what? Come on, man. Still scrolling. It's a big one. Yeah, I think they want us to enter the full value. So let's go with the full value from here until here. Copy and paste. Awesome. So they also have the intro to Kubernetes. I think I have covered this one before. Let's see if I have done this wrong. No, I have. Yeah, I have covered this one before. Just check it out. The DevSecOps playlist, and you will find this particular room in there. So thank you guys for joining me. We are able to complete this task as well. 2 more to go and we are done. So I will see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, give the thumbs up, and if you have any comments, please mention in the comment section down below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.